Those of you with an MDC Caravan, mine is a XT16HR East-West, but I believe most of the XTs, if not all the vans, have the similar setup where you have this black bit of plastic here inside your water fill compartment, and the idea of that is that you screw in a brass 20mm, I think it's 20mm, fitting into here, attach a garden hose, and then you have mains pressure. The problem I had with mine, and I believe quite a few other people have had, is that this particular fitting, this black plastic fitting here, develops fine hairline cracks and it leaks. So the inside of the cupboard where the plumbing is actually starts to get quite soggy, and not the best thing to have happen to you especially when you're on holidays, as we were. I had tried it prior to that on mains pressure to make sure that everything was fine, and at the time at home when I tested it was we didn't have any problems, any issues at all. But wouldn't you know it, first time on mains pressure when we were away, and bingo, instant leak. Unfortunately, it was a Sunday. I was also in a fairly remote area, part of Tasmania, and I had a 160-kilometre round trip to go and try and find something that would remedy the situation. Wasn't totally satisfactory, but I managed to bodge it up and get by at the time. But the problem with these is that this fitting, I'll remove it completely from the compartment. The fitting develops hairline cracks in the body of it, the black plastic thing here somewhere, in that area. People have said, oh, I put thread tape on here. Well, that's fine, but it doesn't really work, unfortunately, because mine in actual fact was cracked, had very fine, you couldn't really see them unless you really magnified it, but fine hairline cracks in this part of the body. Nothing was going to unfortunately cure that. Now the other issue, you might think, oh well, so what? You can just use your onboard water supply. That's not true either, because this actually has the one-way valve in it, so that when the pump pressurises the system and pumps your tank water, there's a one-way valve in here to stop it from actually coming out of here. So this actually houses a one-way valve in this part of the body, and in here, and it stops the backflow of water coming out of here. So when you've got cracks in here, pump starts up, disconnect the mains by all means, start your pump, and it will still leak from here into your cupboards. Not a good look. The problem, of course, was that MDC being on the mainland, weren't able to supply a part because we were travelling around as well. So, but they were quick to get onto it once I returned home, but their remedy was to not just send me this, but to send the entire box, which okay, I suppose it does the job, but my problem is I don't trust these anymore. A number of them have failed, so no thanks, sorry. I have actually come up with what I believe to be a better solution, more permanent solution anyway, and that is that I've gone to all brass with the bits and pieces that I have now. It's all brass and unlikely to cause any further issues, at least in that area. The other thing that you would all notice with these is that when you put the brass fitting in here to hook your mains up with via the garden hose, you have to keep removing the brass fitting from here because you're unable to close the door. I know it's got a little flap in in the door, which you can see just there. And yeah, you know, by all means you can travel around with it like that, but that doesn't stop dirt from getting into the end of your hose fitting. So what I've done, a few things. Number one, to get around the one-way valve problem, I bought a 15mm brass one-way flow valve. You can see arrow on there. Water will only go in one way. So there's that. You need a brass 15mm brass nipple as well in order to be able to screw your plastic lines inside the van onto. Of course you would use thread tape on that ordinarily. So we have that. I also have a 15mm male female adapter. This particular one has a reduction, so a pressure reduction sleeve in it, just a little plastic thing. You can knock that out if you really want to, but that's to reduce the amount of mains pressure. So it'll save the system from being over pressurized. And as well as that, now this is not the same one that comes with the Caravan. This is actually a 15mm brass hose adapter. Okay, so you can plug your garden hose on and then get your mains pressure from the Caravan park. So what we do, two people needed for this job. One inside the van to hold this into position, thus, and someone outside to get the 15 by 15 male female brass adapter. Now you can also, of course, if you need a rubber washer, there should be a rubber washer in behind here just to stop, you know, dirt, whatever else, from getting through into your cupboard, I guess, and maybe a bit of water. Ordinarily you'll put thread tape on that also, which I will be doing once I actually assemble it correctly in the van. So we screw that in like so. Now that can actually remain in situ, so you don't have to keep pulling the brass bit on and off anymore. Great idea, you reckon? I do too. The only problem, of course, is that you can get a bit of dirt going in here. So what I've done is, these are just those earplugs, disposable earplugs that you get, and that'll stop that. And then, of course, before you hook the actual hose up, why not just give it a rinse off before you pull the thing out. Then, guess what? Door locks, complete with the brass attachment on there. Now there is a slight gap at the bottom, but I mean, you know, who cares? It's not going to be causing you too much grief, and if you were really concerned about it, I can't see any reason why you couldn't put a bit of foam, that stuff with double-sided tape on it. Put a bit of that rubber foam around there to help to seal that. But that's my cure. It is a permanent fix. As far as I'm concerned, anyway, I can't see how it can possibly fail in the future. So, and it may not just apply to. I have no idea whether MDC are the only ones that use these particular types of fittings. More than likely not. There's probably quite a few caravans out there that use the same setup, and I have no doubt that they probably have had the same issue. These two, by the way, on the inside of your box, these things actually are held in place with this clip. So you just simply pry that off with a screwdriver and away you go. But that's my fix. I hope it helps. Thanks for watching.